Hi, I'm the author of Betrayed, and my name is Eve Delange. This is actually based on a true story, and I've always loved to write, and so I decided that I would write the interview rather than from the doctor's point of view. I would write it from the FBI agent's point of view, because then I could go ahead and write more stories that these same two agents with the FBI encounter on their desk every day. I'm retired, so I decided that with my retirement I wanted to write books, I want to do interior decorating, I like to paint, I like to exercise, so I like to stay busy. I like to have 2 or 3 projects going at once so that if I get bored with one, I can go over to another one. I was inspired to write this book because, like I said, it is based on a true story. And the man who discovered the Medicare scam, he actually wanted me to write the book for him. But we got disconnected. I mean, he had moved to Italy and different things. And thinking about it, I knew the story, and so I decided that I would just go ahead and write it from the viewpoint of the FBI agents, because that would give me a chance to write a book about a series. I could have more books and more books. So I already have done book number 2, and I am quite busy on book number 3. Well, what it is, and I really feel sorry for the people that it affected, but there was this man at a hospital, a doctor. He did colonoscopies, and he was very busy all the time, and he was discovered by another doctor because he was doing so many every day. The agents that came in that had to track it down, they had to interview so many people. And so it follows through all of the kind of background work that a FBI agent has to do when he's solving a case. And I wanted you to know the people also, so I also told you a lot about Agent Righetti and Agent Smitty and their personal lives. So by the time you're done reading these books, you'll know Righetti and Smitty as well as you know the stories that they solve. Well, I learned that being in court, especially if there are a lot of people being tried, is a very boring thing. Because it's the same questions that they ask each person, you know, because it was all involved in this one case. And I hope that the readers can carry through, but I try to be very detail-oriented, and I try to make it as factual as possible. And I did publish this book as fiction because in the real world, this story did not end exactly the happy way that I had it end. Those bad guys are still out there, so beware. I guess the thing that surprises me the most is how many different interviews and avenues that an agent with the FBI has to take before they actually come up with a solution. I think the readers will get out of this book the fact of what the FBI agents, what they have to go through, and it also will make them aware of things that are going on with Medicare scams and their hospitals, their doctors. I mean, it sounds scary to think that you have to be a little bit paranoid about everybody that you deal with, but these things do happen because this is based on a true story. Well, I hope that it will be intriguing enough to where you will buy this book, and hopefully it will someday be made into a movie, and that you will continue to follow all the series so that you find out about all the cases. My mentor is J.D. Robb, and believe me, I have all of her books, and that's what I want to create with my audience. I want to create the fact that you want immediately to read my next book and want to know when it's coming out. So I'm going to type as fast as I can and get as many out as I can. Probably the biggest surprise will be when people learn what my true age is. And another surprise would be the fact that this is my first book. It always surprises. I mean, it surprised the literary agents and the publicists when they found out that this was my very first book. So if I made any mistakes, I'm sorry. I hope I'll improve as I go along. I've always loved to write, but what inspired me to become an author was I had written another book under a pen name, and I found it so interesting to write that book, which I'm sorry I can't mention the title or anything because it's nonfiction, and it would get people in trouble. But I just became so inspired with writing that I did this book and the other book in 4.5 months, and I thought, well, this is a good thing to do because I love to type, I love to be on the computer, and it's just a way of being creative.
So you mentioned that this is going to be within a series. Do you already have a projection of it's going to be a 6-book series or 10?
It's going to go on forever. I don't think that J.D. Robb has a definite number of books out there, but I know she's got, I alone have over 20 of them, I think. And so mine are just going to keep going because there is always something happening with the FBI. So all I have to keep in mind is that, you know, it has to involve a state line, and otherwise it would just be a police thing. But I just find that the FBI have much more intricate and interesting cases. And in fact, the one that I'm writing right now is really kind of out of the box. Right now, Betrayed is available on Amazon, Google, Barnes & Noble, and of course from the my own website of Eve Delange Books. And on there you'll see a list of my other books that as they're coming out, they immediately go to my website, so you won't be able to miss a thing. So the best way for you to stay in touch with what the latest is that's out there on and available would be to go to my website, evedelangebooks.com, and that should get you there.